Dax makes life interesting, that's for sure.
The eccentric one.
He's a songwriter. He's definitely the guy. Just he likes his thing.
Dax definitely thinks in a different way.
He's the most forgetful person on earth.
His brain operates on a different parallel.
He's the creative center.
Like seriously, he will leave his phone at the table when we stop for lunch.
He's kind of coming from another place.
Always clueless to his next move, like to whatever he's thinking in that brain of his, whatever he's going to do next.
He writes his songs, he does his part.
I think he was abducted by aliens. He talks about it a lot.
Likes to play a lot of video games.
He hates germs.
He's really good at Donkey Kong. I think he's going after the gold record right now.
I don't always get Dax, but the dynamic works because he's so much different than the rest of us.
The guy keeps me guessing, like constantly.
Basically his mission in life right now is to write a gold record and to win Donkey Kong.
Early on it was a lot of the Seattle sound, a lot of the Nirvana and things coming out of there, Soundgarden, you know, I was real into that. Our Lady Peace was a big band and influenced me a huge amount. Third Eye Blind, Jimmy Eat World, and just a lot of the later on sort of kind of punk scene, I guess, pop punk scene, the early pop punk scene, and you know, as of recently, bands, you know, like 30 Seconds to Mars and Muse, and really like what those guys are doing. Because before that, it was just all hip hop. You know, I was a hip hop guy. I loved the early '90s hip hop stuff with KRS-One or Public Enemy, and you know, Wu-Tang, and all those guys. That was kind of where I came from. And then the Seattle thing started to happen, and that's what really got me into rock music. I've been trying to figure Blair out since you know, the beginning of time.
Blair is the glue that holds it all together.
Blair is the most business-minded person I've ever met, but only applied to rock and roll.
He's really been my partner in all this.
Kind of like the manager of our office, if you will.
I've never met anybody that has more dedication and passion to the pursuit of rock and roll happiness.
Always pushes the envelope.
He breathes it.
Keeps me motivated.
He sets up everything.
He does not know how to not work.
I mean, I thought I wanted it really bad, and believe me, I do.
Try and back him all the way.
This kid, he works night and day on nothing but the band.
Anytime you think you got that guy pegged, man, he will just throw you for a loop.
Everything that he does is for the greater good.
He plays a mean lead guitar, so that's why we keep him around.
He definitely has his quirks about him. There will never be another human being on this planet like Blair.
Growing up, my older brother actually played guitar, and I idolized him, and he used to lock it up in his room, and I couldn't, you know, couldn't get to it, so the thing was to pick the lock, and just because it was so forbidden, you know, I had to do it just because I was told not to do it, so tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it. I just hit one string, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I started first, you know, on the top string, figuring out melody lines, vocal lines of songs, so that's kind of where the bug came from. And then, you know, when I was young, my mom had tapes and stuff. Like, my first love was Chuck Berry. Had a song called My Ding-a-Ling. Loved it. And then, you know, from there, just all kind of bands. My cousins were into Kiss and Motley Crue and things like that. And then as I got older, getting into bands like Third Eye Blind, Jimmy Eat World, Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance. But also definitely loved the singer-songwriter types, like even way back from like Elton John, Billy Joel, definitely into some Bowie. I love some Pink, Katy Perry. All of our influences definitely dictate how this band is live. You know, we all take kind of the role and the style of music that we grew up on, and we each play that character in the live show, and that kind of brings out who Flight Case is. You know, 4 different individuals, but definitely coming together to do one thing.
Mikey's Mr. Personality.
There's hillbillies! There's hillbillies! Just keep running!
He's the class clown for sure.
100 miles an hour, 100% of the time.
Energy, non-stop.
Mikey straight up made being in a band fun for me again.
Never a dull moment. You never know what to expect.
Awesome drummer.
Awesome drummer.
He is a drummer in every sense of the word.
He's the guy that everybody wants to meet.
He's the only guy I know that actually likes Striper.
It's just always entertaining with Mikey.
His brain is full of useless pop culture knowledge.
He's always there for you. He's a good guy. He'll give you a shirt off his back.
He's got an old school swagger to him. He's got some style. He's absolutely good to have in your back pocket on a rainy day.
It's 100 miles an hour, non-stop, from the time he wakes up in the morning till the time he goes to bed, if he sleeps.
Big fan of like 50s and 60s, anything melodic like the Beatles, Buddy Holly, the Everly Brothers, stuff like that. Then I got into 80s metal, like Priest, Sabotage, Riot. My dad was really into all that stuff. And then when I got to my sculpting years of like being a teenager, I guess I stumbled upon the hooks and poppiness of the 50s, but then the speed of metal and whatnot. So that's when I found like this punk sound, and it was like all the SoCal punk bands like Strung Out and No Use for a Name and Good Riddance and a lot of those MXPX, a lot of bands like that. Ty is one of the most interesting, quiet people you'll ever meet.
Well, he's the gentle giant.
He definitely says the least in the band, but when he speaks, it's direct, intelligent, and usually right to the point.
I think he's a robot.
Captain responsible.
Don't tell anybody. I think he's over there. He may be off in the woods somewhere, but
He loves chicken, he loves salad, but he hates condiments.
He works out, he eats a lot of protein.
Skynet sent him back in time to be in this band.
He wins a lot of Halloween costume contests. We're never allowed to play on October 31st. Never.
He's just gonna rip off his face and be like, "Ah."
If you need to find Ty, there's a gym somewhere in Nashville where he'll be at working out.
Ty is also a world champion kickboxer.
He's always prepared. He knows where everything is.
He's kind of my bodyguard when I go out at night. When he opens up, he's got quite the sense of humor.
And by the way, he's a robot. He runs programs.
Well, after I wore out my first Vanilla Ice tape, my old man actually bought me some decent records. He got me Pantera, Megadeth, and Jimi Hendrix. Those are my first 3 CDs. And he started taking me to concerts when I was like 12, 13 years old. Mostly it was like Slayer concerts, Biohazard, real heavy stuff. And then when I got into playing music, you know, I got into the alternative scene, a little bit of Nirvana and all that. And when I really got serious about playing bass, I started getting into a lot of funk, you know, just because of the great players that are in that scene. You know, all those influences have kind of really, I guess, opened my mind to the different styles of playing.